Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Mystic Brick. This is the very next Black Falcon Fortress expansion episode, and there are two extensions today, which I'm very excited to show you, so let's get right on into it. Nothing too crazy about what I'm doing here today, but I am extending the river section by quite a bit, so putting down more of those translucent blue bricks now, and then filling some of this out with some fishes and crabs and such. Using some translucent blue tiles along with the light blue just to give the indication of greater depth here in the middle of the river. So I think that works out pretty well. Once I've got all the bricks down, then I'm going to start to put down the tiles on top of those, cover up the fishes and whatnot. So yeah, as you can see, we're looking pretty good here, putting down those slanted tiles in there, which I think just give that really nice ripple effect. Looking pretty good. Gonna work on this rock structure a little bit, and then add some foliage to that. Might as well throw an otter in there as well. Then I'm going to start building up some of the bankwork around the river and just using a lot of the bright green bricks, which, I just have a lot of in my collection. Some of the sloping pieces there too to get that nice effect as you go down into the river. And once all of that is looking pretty good and we've started to put down more of the foliage and some more animals too, I'm going to just go ahead and build this first tree over here. And this is going to be a pretty simple tree. You've seen me do similar trees in the past. Just putting down a little base there with those sloping bricks and then putting the 2x2 rounds in the center and building up from there. Using some of those Technic pieces, and then the tails and elephant trunks, of course. Wanted to be keeping a sort of similar color palette to everything in this mock, and then just differentiating somewhat with different colored bronze pieces, but keeping the theme mostly the same. Thinking that tree looks pretty good now, and we're just going to put down a little bit more of this foliage and then pop our minifigs in there. So these are two jolly fishermen, and you can see they've had a pretty good catch so far this day. And one of them, as you can see, has just pulled a fish out of the water, so he's pretty happy about that, I'm sure. Gonna give him a sack for their lunch there. And you can see, some of the other creatures around here, the jumping salmon, a few more crabs, and then, I'm going to put down a few more frogs as well. You got to have those little pink frogs in there, get those pops of color. And I'd say we're looking pretty good here with this plate, and we should just probably move on to the next. So this is going to be where the river turns to head in a different direction, and so I'm just doing a sort of corner section here, building that up very simply like so. And once we have our green bricks down, I'm going to just place a little picnic scene in here. Two little besotted picnic goers enjoying each other's company and their time along the riverbank. So we're just going to create a nice little scene here for them. Wanted to stick with the Black Falcon theme and give them, a blue and white picnic blanket. Once we have that initial scene set up, then I'm just going to build this final tree over here. Give it some slightly different colored branches as well, but nothing too crazy. That's all coming together quite well, so let's go ahead and take a look at our minifigs now. So for all of these, I've used a lot of the Viking prints, and then also many from the new D&D CMF that came out, and a few others in here, but pretty simply put together. We've got our 2 fishermen, and then, our 2 picnic goers here too. Everyone seeming pretty happy. Alright, now let's go look at those 2 plates set together under some better lighting. And you can see this little scene coming together quite nicely. Very happy with the way it all turned out. You can see I put some of those flower pieces in there as well. A lively little scene, on a summer day here along the river. And everyone seems to be having a great time. I think this all gives a nice, riverbank feel. I didn't want to populate too much foliage around here because I think that does detract. So you got to find that right balance between an empty scene and a scene that's just full enough, I think, that you can create enough interest but not get lost in the details. And I think I've managed to do that pretty well here. Adding the animals is always a fun part for me, and gotta have some butterflies in there, some bunny rabbits as well. Just a quaint little riverside scene. Can get a closer look at some of those animals under the water there. I think this effect works pretty well, although you do end up using a lot of bricks. Okay, now that we've seen those 2 plates set side by side, let's put them together into the larger mock and see what the whole thing looks like. Really liking the way this has turned out. This has been a fun little extension to add. And I think, for the next plates that I do here, I'll probably extend the river just one more section and then get back into the fortress, and we'll build up likely a stables and extend that chicken coop. As I had promised, I've added some little piglets in here too. You can see them scurrying around there in the mud. I still do want to add an extension to this outer tower here, sort of cap it off, give it a roof, but I'm waiting on pieces for that. So look out for that in the future. Changing some little things here as we go along. Some of these minifigs are being upgraded as I upgrade my Black Falcon army, so giving them new weapons and such. You can see that banner there that standard bearer on the tower is now wielding. But yeah, I'm happy with the way that this whole scene is expanding, and I really like how lively it feels now. I'm very excited to keep building this out, so please look out for future episodes. Besides the stables and the chicken coop, I'm gonna add a mess hall and barracks. We're gonna have a training yard, there'll be a blacksmith, and then we'll build into the bigger keep and dungeon below. So lots to come yet. And who knows, maybe I'll extend the outer sections as well and include a medieval village at some point. Something I'm thinking about. We'll see about that. I'm trying not to get too carried away, but who knows what's gonna happen. Thanks so much for watching. Really do appreciate all of your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye now.